it is getting quite dark now because it is like the short days in winter where you don't have much light. So I've had to put the torch on my camera on for this video. So if I do more videos, you might get to see this shininess in action a bit more. I said I was going to review the issue of THOR that introduces the god who lives in the sun that features in Atlantis Attacks, but I have accidentally picked out the wrong issue. I was going through my THOR collection, and at the start I saw the Mighty Thor, and I just assumed, oh well, that must be the one that I'm thinking of, and I picked it out. But what I've done is I've grabbed the first appearance of the Soulman. The second appearance of the Soulman. You'll remember him from this issue of THOR, this really good issue of THOR I reviewed. I'll link to it down below because synergy. And in this, the Soulman is really cool. He's like a giant space monster thing, and he's 7 billion souls, so he's really, really powerful and stuff. Really good story, I recommend it. This one, on the other hand, this whole story is the first appearance of the Soulman, and unfortunately, it isn't very good. Basically, the plot is that Thor's dad, Anthony Hopkins, he has died, and the Soulman has ate his soul. So now he has the power of Anthony Hopkins. But unlike in the other story, where he was massive and really scary because he had 7 billion souls, here he has only got the one soul, Anthony Hopkins' soul. So he isn't anywhere near as like imposing or big. He's basically a fiery Anthony Hopkins. And there is C3PO there, and the whole issue really is just a long fight scene between THOR and the fairies from Fairyland and Soulman. Like there you can see Soulman's just like battering them away, and we get the origin of Soulman because this is the second appearance of him. He was in the issue just before, but he was like the big ending like reveal. So this is the one that's all about him. And the origin is there is this race of aliens, and they need soul energy for their planet to survive. So they created this Soul Eater. And at the minute, he's being controlled by this fella. But I think in the THOR story, the Soul Eater is just independent. He's just like a thing that goes around eating souls. So the Soulman is just battering away the fairies from Fairyland, and THOR starts to fight him. And here we have quite a common mistake in THOR comics when the colorist colours Thor's legs skin colour, making it look like Thor has forgotten to put on trousers. And I like this bit here. This is probably my favourite bit of the whole comic, because Thor is doing that classic Thor thing where he's just prattling on, going, "I am Thor, son of Odin, and you ne'er stand a chance against the mightiest warrior of hallowed Asgard and the master of..." And the Soulman, he just gets fed up and kicks him in the face to shut him up, like before he finishes his speech. So I like that bit. That bit's good. And yeah, Thor gets his ass, as the Americans say, arse, as I say, he gets his arse handed to him by the Soulman. And unfortunately, this is where the comic gets really, really bad, because turns out Tom Beaver is the one that beats the Soulman. Because when Anthony Hopkins was dying, he realised he was dying, so he gave Tom Beaver a little bit of his soul. So now Tom Beaver is able to defeat the Soulman, and I just don't really like this, like Soulman passing out there. The idea that a villain that previously had been huge and like dwarfed planets and stuff, that he can be defeated by Tom Beaver, who is a useless coward. I just really don't like this. This is not for me at all. And then Anthony Hopkins can come back to life because Tom Beaver gives that little bit of his soul back. And then Thor and all the fairies from Fairyland, they decide to go back home to Fairyland. And some people might think that seeing Thor and his friends riding around space in this Viking boat is a really like cool thing to see. But it's not. And then they get back to Fairyland, and while they've been gone, Tom Hiddleston, as Loki, he has assumed control of all of Fairyland. He is now the king. But more importantly, look, there is Amanda the Enchanter. Now, she is hands down one of my most favourite characters ever. She is fucking beautiful. I love her. I look at her. She is just beautiful. In my opinion, forget Tom Hiddleston as Loki. She should be ruling. She should be queen. She is fit to be a queen. And I would worship her day and night. I mean, she's beautiful. Absolute marriage material, her. Amanda the Enchanter. She's possibly the best character in all of the THOR comics. She's just beautiful. Unfortunately, I don't have the next part, but if I'd known that Amanda the Enchanter was in it, I would have rushed out to buy it. She's just the best, her. But as I said, this comic, it's disappointing. It's interesting to see the first appearance of this thing, but it's just a kind of like a little. It's just not really that fun. It's just a fight issue, and THOR, he doesn't even get that much of a good fight in it. I'm just not a big fan of this issue, sadly. I'm gonna have to rate it 7 thumbs up.